Alright, so there's two types of dash kits that you can find on eBay. This is the JDM dash kit. I paid about $3.60 for it, but everything fits perfect. You keep your stock navigation system. The climate control buttons, as you can see here, they look like OEM factory. You can't even tell the difference. On the 03 and 04, so they don't have the button for the dual climate control. I read somewhere that you can desolder the old one off of it, and then you can resolder that onto the new one. But, I mean, don't quote me on that. Now, you can find other dash kits on eBay for much more affordable, not to mention any brand names, but you will have to make some minor adjustments. Someone on YouTube posted a video, and they said that you have to sand down the edges of the Navi touch control to make it fit. He was saying you have to sand these down and then it will pop in. So if you're watching this video, thanks to that tip. The much more affordable dash kits, they come with these fake looking buttons right here, the temp gauge control. It looks like rubber. I don't like it. I mean, if you like it, great. The OEM just looks so much more sleek, if you're asking me. Spend the extra money and just purchase the JDM kit. Everything fits great. Basically, you know, once you start cheaping out on parts, then you're gonna start cheaping out on everything else in your car. And it's just not gonna look good, and more stuff's gonna break. To set this thing up on the new dash kit, it's the same thing as the old one when you take it apart. On the new one, just remove these two screws right here. Remove the 4 screws here that hold your navigation kit. And then there's also your ground wire, I believe. Remove that. And then once that's connected, you can pull the radio out. There's 4 bolts on each side. There's 4 right there, and then there's 4 right here. Be careful taking those out. Stripped 2 of them and had to drill them out, so that was not fun. There's a screw here and a screw here. But on the stock one, there's gonna be 2 screws, so be careful. You're only gonna use 1 for the new one. And it's simple. Put your new vents in, take them off the stock one, and they'll just click right in on the new one. Here's the wiring harness for the radio. I picked up the wiring harness. It's probably about 15 bucks. You can find it at any radio store. This is what it looks like. This is the 2 wiring harness right here. These 2 things are going to plug in your stock controls in here. One of these, just you'll figure it out. This is your radio harness. It's all color coding, so the wires are already color coded for you. I also had to pick up this iSimple ISVE61. This is supposed to make the Bose system work. And this is fairly easy. They give you your output and your input wiring. So how I wired this up is from the radio harness, I just color coordinated it into your inputs, as you can see here. All color coordinated. Green goes to green, white goes to white, so forth. This was weird because it had 2 positive green wires. So I connected one and it didn't work. So my left rear speaker wasn't working. So what I did was I took both of the green wires on here, routed them into the single dark green wire that goes into this. And I plugged it in and it works great. So obviously you're gonna have your ground wire here. I'm sure there's a way to get your voice system back, but you're gonna lose your navigation, the voice system that comes on. Who uses that anyways? Some wires are going to be wired not through this, but to your actual wiring harness, so that makes sense. There was the blue wire, the remote wire. I just routed this from here to here. Routed the other blue wire from this to this. Then routed all this to here, and then these ones are routed to the other one. It's all color coordinated for you. It's very simple. If you have any questions, just drop a line and I'll let you know. That's it for the radio harness. Under the glove box, you will find a bunch of good spots to ground your wires. What I did is just extend the ground wires to reach back here from the CD player. So here's where I grounded it out at, if you can see. It turns out you don't need to ground out the mute wire. So you only need 1 ground for the CD player, and the other ground is so you can watch DVDs without the parking brake on. You don't need to buy any fancy switches for that. So just ground it out and it works right away. Parking brake is down. The video is still playing. So here's some tips and tricks for this head unit. So if you want to use your USB for your iPod, you gotta change it in the settings. Go to menu, go to standby, hit menu, and then go to your setup. You can see this. Click on your input. You'll see the option here, AV input, AV into or iPod. So if you're using an iPod cable that hooks up in the back of the CD player, then you will use iPod function. If you're using your USB cable to an iPhone and using that as an iPod, then you would change it to AV into. That way you'll get your volume back. Another tip here, people kept complaining that the Bluetooth only plays out of the front two speakers. Make sure it's still in standby. Go to Bluetooth. Go to mode. Scroll down. And you'll see right here, Bluetooth HF audio. So make sure it's on all. Front only or all. So make sure it's in all. Much more fuller sound.